texts for you. The first one is called How Much Longer? It's kind of a doom and gloom text, so welcome to it. Can I see? Yes, I can see. News sources have not always been so eager to report the misery, the violence, and the catastrophes of the world. Whether on TV, print media, or radio, there used to be hope, dreams, and beauty. Really? Nah. They used to make us want to escape to other worldly paradise-like destinations. Where are those idyllic places now? Should we continue to watch, read, or listen to the news? Or should we bury our head in the sand, adopt the ostrich attitude, in hope that the world will get better by the time we take our heads out of the sand and look around the surface again? So instead of imitating the ostrich, because I do a terrible imitation of an ostrich, let me just sum up the state of our world, if you're ready for this. We have people being displaced because of climate disruption, and it was in the upper 70s as far as the temperature is concerned in Paris last week, and that's in mid-October, which is unheard of. Dire economic conditions, or wars, or religious differences, and on virtually all continents. From the Venezuelan refugees pouring into neighboring countries at an alarming rate, because no one dares to stop the elected dictator that Maduro has become, and who wants to control and starve his people, although it's a country that had an envious situation about 15 years ago. To the Middle Eastern and African refugees flooding Europe because of war, disastrous economic conditions, or religious factions not agreeing on their respective interpretation of the Quran. Really? Who gives a fuck? It's another religious book. Come on. To the Rohingya population being massacred by Burmese authorities and forced to flee to Bangladesh, which is already a fucked up country as it is, because it's fucked up by poverty, exploitation of the Western countries, and rampant pollution from air to water. Let me go on with the Tibetans being persecuted by the Chinese government, Aboriginal people in Australia that are like our blacks here in the US facing discrimination from an early age and for a very long time, just because they don't look like the former colonizers' owners. Well, some kind of do. The Russians also, with Putin in charge, are killing Ukrainians and Chechens just because he wants to rebuild the Soviet Empire. So that's just a short list. And that was just about people, okay? If we add this on to disastrous climatic conditions, and for example, the Florida Panhandle can attest to that negatively affect our lives of millions of people, where does it feel good to live in the world right now, nowadays? Rural France, maybe? Where I plan to live to cowardly escape all this shit? Well, sure, but no matter where you live in France, you're always only about 125 miles away from a nuclear power plant. Well, that's a nice thought. What about Bhutan? All right, that's the place that has replaced the gross domestic product with the gross national happiness, from its pristine environment to a harmonious society. Sure, why not? But it'll cost you about $250 a day as a foreigner to stay there. So you can forget about your daily latte or whatever the fuck you drink in the morning from Starbucks on your morning commute. Plus, you'll be in Himalayan country, and you can also forget about your shorts and your flip-flops or your summer dress or whatever the fuck you wear since you've moved to Florida. Since, you know, most people move to Florida from somewhere else, and because I don't give a fuck whether you're a native or not. So I don't care much about clothing because I haven't been able to fit my summer dress in a pretty long time. So maybe Switzerland, all right? First you gotta learn to yodel, and bring lots of cash, because cash is the official language in this multilingual and peaceful country, and for the rich. Is there any other place to live if you're poor? I don't know, but call me when you find it, and make sure you grow your own food, because it's been reported that industrial food contributes to making us sick. Yet, no one calls for industrial food lobbies to urge manufacturers to make better, healthier products, and that's all the poor people that can afford this kind of shit. So I'm telling you this, that unless and until government leaders of our world start to finally lead instead of cashing in on their position and come up with real solutions to make sure that we, humans, can live healthily and peacefully, and unless all of that happens, we're fucked. So drink up your beer, drink up your booze, have another cigarette, and go fuck your cute neighbor if she or he's got the hots for you, and whatever floats your boat, because time is running out, my friend. All right, so this was the first one, but just to let you know that we poets are not all depressed, I'd like to read you from my latest text, which is called Long Fart. And I have to bring this closer. I sleep alone mostly, single, not celibate. My age, not to worry, the benefits I get. Last night I was in bed, nothing on, in the nude. Good evening, nicely fed. Do it too, don't be prude. Light was out, legs apart. Scratch my nuts in the dark. I let out a long fart, loud as if in the park. I giggled in my place. Don't be offended, dude. Didn't fart in your face. Even poets are crude. Singlehood, noise making. Ladies, do not worry. When gently love making, you will not be sorry. For I hold my farts in while sharing the pleasures as you invite me in from mutual desires. Thank you. All right, I need